So I'm like in this like 13-year-old boy's room who's not there for, the summer break, and it like sort of smells like aftershave, and I'm just like remember that smell so clearly of being stuck in that room with that flu for days and days. I'm Jess Sarah. I'm a professional gravelista for Canyon Bicycles. Going into my first season in 2015, I had my second iliac artery surgery on my other leg. I'd had the first one in 2012. I went out with my new team and tried to race an early season race called Redlands Classic. It's a big stage race in California. So we went to that race. I felt like crap. Big shocker. I felt like crap because I didn't have any fitness because I was recovering from a surgery, but was also pushing my body to do a stage race too close after having surgery. So I made it 3 stages in and I quit, and was really just honest with myself, and I gave myself a little bit of leeway, like I think I was being too hard on myself. And we were leaving almost directly from Redlands to go to Tour of the Gila. And it was the first stage of that race that I was crashed out in a massive crash that smashed me into a bridge wall and basically broke the entire left side of my body. So it was a very, very long recovery. This new team called me up and they really wanted me to ride for them, and I liked their schedule. I liked the opportunities, so I took it. We went into the 2017 season. We went to Australia. We went to Tour Down Under, and I got influenza A plus. It was horrible. I spent the entire trip dying in the dorm room. Like literally one day my temperature was above 104. And that influenza led to influenza pneumonia. So I had about a month of just like, why are these things happening to me? And we were staying in these hilarious dorms. This is just like so symbolic of women's road racing, where like the men's teams are at the Hilton downtown and the women are at a boys' dormitory at the school. Anyway, so we came back home from that race and I started recovering, and then I got bacterial pneumonia after Redlands and had to like reset again. Was unable to go to Gila. Nonetheless, I decided to give 2018 a try, and we went to Redlands, and we had raced with the goal of less of winning stages and more of winning jerseys. And we had a sprinter named Starla who actually won the overall crit series last year, the USA Crit Series. So she's like a very experienced and talented sprinter. So we knew we really wanted to go in for that jersey for her, and we had set her up to be in a good position going into the crit. And I remember specifically the afternoon of the crit, my team director came over to my host house and he was like, "How are you feeling?" And I was like, "I'm excited. I love this crit. It's my favorite crit." And he's like, "Good. Have you eaten enough?" And I was like, "I just ate 4 pounds of rice." And he was like, "Seriously?" And I'm like, "Seriously, I just ate this whole pot. Like, I'm ready to go." So we go down, get ready, start racing the crit. And literally in the first turn, there's an attack. And I cover that attack. And luckily I was in a good position to cover that attack, and that turns out to be the move of the day. And it just happened to be that there was a rider from every team that had assimilated really quickly into that break. And I can tell you that breakaways don't ever happen like that. Like, it's never that easy. You're normally fighting and trying, and this one just seemed to be like, "Oh, wow, I'm in the break. Sweet, this is great." And I was in a break full of some of the most talented sprinters in the country. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, "Oh, I don't know about this break. Like, this is not the break for me. I'm just going to do what Tad tells me." And Tad was our team director, and he's in my ear and he's like, okay, you're going to sit on, you're going to work with them. And then 2 laps before the first intermediate sprint, you're going to sit in, and then you're going to go for the sprint, and you're going to take those points so no one can take points from Starla. And I'm thinking, this is not going to go well. I am not a sprinter. I have never done more than 800 watts on the bike. Like that is 796 is my max ever. And I'm like really proud of that. I am a climber and I am a engine, like a diesel engine, not a sprinter. And so we're going around and we come up on the first intermediate sprint and I'm thinking, okay, make sure you sprint in your drops. Don't be an idiot and sprint in your hoods. Like, do everything right. And I know the last corner of that is really hard. And if you're through the last corner first, that's usually who wins that sprint. So I actually went early and I attacked the corner and I took the sprint easily. I had that lead. And so it gave me confidence. And Tad was like, that was great, but next time don't go so early. And I was like, okay. He's like, save energy. So we go around and then the second intermediate sprint comes up and I wait and I go. And it didn't seem like anyone went with me. It actually seemed like they were struggling. And Tad was like, sit up, wait for them. And so I did. And I could tell, I was like, people are getting tired. So third intermediate sprint comes up and I go for it again. And all I hear is Tad in my ear. I never looked back, probably didn't look back for 10 minutes. He just said, put your fucking head down and go. And so I'm like, I'm out of here. And I take off and it's like I had my little like spies on every corner of the course because it's my hometown race. And so it was the most surreal experience of like, you know that people are cheering, but it's almost happening in slow motion because it's like completely silent. It's dead silent in my mind and I am just so focused. But then I'm seeing people and they're giving me time checks and Tad's giving me time checks. And I ended up putting almost a minute on the brake and the brake got caught by the field on the line. So I won by almost a minute and then I ended up winning that sprinter's jersey because I took a chance against, I think a brake full of sprinters that knew if it came down to the line, they all had a chance to win. And so why would they waste their time over trying to get this jersey? And it was the most incredibly special moment for me at that race, sort of to prove to myself, but really what I was thinking about the whole time was my teammates and like doing it for Starla and doing it for the rest of the team. And it was a relatively new team that we were the underdogs then. Everyone knows Hagens Berman now as the team that was aggressive and like we were the badass team that people wanted to be on and we got results. But back in 2018, we were still sophomores in the peloton and we were the underdogs. So it was just a really, really, really cool moment. And it taught me like, don't ever count yourself out. Cycling has its own plan for you. Like it just does. I am like living proof of that. And anytime you try to box yourself in and create your plan, like it's probably not going to go very well. But when you just like feel it and let it happen, those are when those really cool moments happen. That was a really, really special day for all of us. And I think it led into a season of getting a lot of other good results and being a really strong team.